Welcome to Beyond Ordinary, where we explore powerful strategies and life changing insights to help entrepreneurs and ambitious individuals achieve extraordinary success. I'm Myles, Youngblood, your guide to leveling up your life and business. And today we're going to talk everything burnout. And I have my wonderful guest here, Michelle. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome, Miles. Thanks for finding me and inviting me.
Anytime, anytime. So, what is burnout and how can ambitious individuals continue to achieve their goals without suffering from it?
It's so funny because I think burnout is glorified in the hustle and grind culture most entrepreneurs operate within. And I'm here to remind you it doesn't have to go that way, right? Burnout and, just depleting yourself is the worst thing you can do as a creative, right? Like we cannot create when we're depleted. So you like almost stunt your growth by allowing yourself to burn out. Because think about the last time you were sick. Like I know for me it was last week, right? And I know
Mhm.
there was not one creative cell in my brain because I was merely just trying to get better, just trying to feel good. If you feel good as an entrepreneur, you're going to be far more powerful when it comes to the creation process. So understand the impact of allowing yourself to get depleted. And really, like, if you understand that, maybe that'll help motivate you to do better.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you said, in the hustle culture, burnout is really, it's really prevalent. People just want to hustle. They just got to achieve their goals
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I think that when there's a difference between like people being stressed and people being burnt out, and I kind of wanted to like start the conversation off by like a common definition of what that
Mhm.
means. So, what is burnout actually?
So I come at resilience and burnout from a non clinical conversation. So I'm not talking about it in a clinical narrative. So my definition might be different than a physician or a clinician who would treat someone for severe cases. My definition is you've just lost your energy, you've lost your passion, and the things that you once loved to do are no longer appealing because you just have to fundamentally, you've just spent yourself mentally and physically.
Okay. So, you said spend yourself mentally and physically. So when obviously like we're talking to a lot of entrepreneurs and ambitious individuals and stuff like on the show. So is there a way for people to still achieve what they want and give the level of output required to keep their business afloat, to keep, driving, whatever hobby or
Mhm.
passion that takes up a lot
Mhm.
of their time without burning
Mhm.
out?
Yeah, think about it. Like you have to fill your cup if you want to keep going.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I believe that there is. I think that, you look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, some of the successful leaders in the world, and what do they have? They have structures in place, they have boundaries, they have things they will do, things they won't do. They're not a slave to their work 100% because they get that the long game requires that they have the energy and the stamina to keep going. Like we know, being an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur for over 5 years. The key is to stay in the game. It's a marathon,
Hmm.
it's not a sprint. So, how are you going to do that? You absolutely have to take the time to fill your cup, to do stuff for you so you feel good. It's a feeling universe, it's a feeling world. How we feel energetically projects out to the world what we're going to get back. So you got to make time to move your body. You got to make time to sleep. You can't think that, you're going to perform if you've only gotten 4 hours of sleep. Moving your body is such a great way to process stress. We know that these jobs are high stress, high stress. Like stress doesn't go anywhere. We have to process that, whether it's through movement or meditation. Like, guarantee every day you're going to get a fresh helping of stress. And if you don't have a tool to handle that and process that, you're not going to be able to handle tomorrow's dose of stress.
Hmm.
So you have to have these basic things in place.
Yeah, structure is really key in terms of making sure that, like you said, that your cup is actually full. Like you can't just continue to just run, which is actually why over this past December, I went home for the holidays and I was like, you know what? let me take this month in November to record. Like, I think I recorded like 9 episodes over the span of a month.
Yeah.
But I did that because I knew that during December, I didn't want to record any new content. I wanted to just, I just wanted to make sure that I had time to my family, time to myself, time to reflect and recharge. Um, so yeah,
Mhm.
that was. Have you experienced burnout yourself? If so, how did you recognize it, and how did you recover from it?
It's interesting. I worked in a corporate job for many, many years, 19 years to be exact.
Mm,
And I felt I had moments of burnout. I probably didn't really have true burnout until I was an entrepreneur. Because in
mm-hmm,
the beginning, you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And, for me, I would be I'd be a fraud as a resilience coach if I didn't take better care of me. So I had to realize the things I was teaching my clients, I had to make sure I was implementing in my life. So yeah, I know what it feels like. And I also deal with seasonal depression. So here in the Northeast right now, it's friggin' cold and depressing.
mm-hmm,
So I have to do things to keep myself healthy. And so I constantly am on that journey to take better care of me, and make sure that I avoid burnout because I do know how hard it was to recover from that.
mm-hmm. So you mentioned you had a corporate job for 19 years. So I know we're talking about burnout in the context of like people who have businesses and stuff. But what about people who are at a corporate job who are feeling burnt out and
Mhm.
feel like they can't do anything because it's like it's my job. Like if they tell me to
Yeah.
do something, I got to do it. You know.
Most people don't realize they have more agency than they have, right? So we
Mm,
don't define resilience at our brand, resilience as a lifestyle. We don't define resilience as the thing that you build after hitting rock bottom. We define resilience as agency. And regardless of your circumstances, you still have agency, but the average person is sitting waiting for their circumstances externally to shift or change in order for them to make themselves a priority. I would argue, even the most challenging corporate role, they don't own you 24/7. You still have agency over what you do in the morning, what you do at night, what you do on the weekends.
mm-hmm,
And only you can say and claim time to help yourself recharge, rejuvenate, step away like you did over the holiday. Only you can do that. No one's going to come along and say, "Hey, you know what? You look a little stressed out. Let me take something off your plate." Like nobody's doing that.
At
We have to
all.
grab onto that, and we also have to remember that we get a say in how things go.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta make use of the time that you do have. Like at the end of the day, everybody got the same 24 hours. And yeah,
True.
there are some jobs that might require you to work, 8, 9, 10 hour days, maybe even 12-hour days. But at the end of the day, you still gotta go home and
Hmm.
take care of yourself. Because if you just keep showing up every single day and don't say anything and don't what you call take care of yourself, like no one's gonna do it for you, like you said. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And then, are there any early signs of burnout that people could look out for to prevent it before it gets to that point?
Yeah, I always say check in on your energy. There are two things in my coaching practice. I've coached over 5,000 hours of folks from startups to corporate to educators, and
Mm,
we measure stress and energy in our resilience audit that we do. And the stress and energy barometer gives us a lot of insight. So if your energy is low, you have to take a step back and say, what am I doing to help reclaim the energy I know is possible for me? Like, I know how
mhm,
good I could feel. Like, what am I not doing that has me feeling so depleted? Like, keeping an eye on your energy and your stress levels is going to help you get ahead of it. Making sure you have stress mitigating practices, whether it's breath work, meditation, yoga, um, you know, uh, journaling, prayer,
mhm.
whatever your thing is, you have to have something to help you process stress. Could be movement. For me, it's exercise. Exercise helps me so much with stress. But when it comes to energy, energy is so important. And the first thing that we tend to feel when we're on the verge of burnout is like, I can't get out of bed. I just have no
Yeah.
energy. You're like totally spent, right? So you got to back into that and say, well, this past week, like how many hours of sleep am I getting? How much water am I drinking? Has my diet been crap because I've been so busy that I just grab crap food? Like you're putting that in your body and expecting to get energy, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it's really like taking inventory periodically and measuring your energy and your stress.
Mm-hmm. And then I think you had mentioned like an energy barometer. Like, what is
Yeah.
that?
It's simple. 1 to 5. How you feel? 1, I feel like crap. 5, I have great energy. I could go for a long walk and feel amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And then you had mentioned that you're a resilience coach. So can you kind of dive into that? Like, what do you do with your practice and how do you help people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting because when I set out, I gave a TED talk, I wrote a book, and I was really keen on being an active mental health advocate. But then it bothered me, like, why were we waiting for people to handle depression, burnout? Why were we not helping people get ahead of it? So that's when my resilience as a lifestyle practice
Mm-hmm.
was born, because I was like, this is crazy that we're waiting for people to hit rock bottom, or so what I teach in my resilience practice is helping people reclaim their footing, right? A lot of people come to me and they are like, they're at the effects of their life. They're just holding it together. They're on the hamster wheel. They work crazy hours.
Mm-hmm.
They do their home responsibilities. And it's like they are on a slow track to burnout. And so what we do in my practice is we like sit them down and we take a massive inventory. We look at how they think about stress and adversity to what they're doing every single day. And those two things we tweak, and we have a wildly successful um, impact rate in like as few as 3 sessions, because people just need a plan and someone to hold them accountable. And the moment they start executing the plan and we hold them accountable, they start to shift around and they start to feel good. And you know as well as I do, when you feel good, you could take on the world. But
Mm-hmm.
most people have forgotten what it's like to be able to feel good so they can take on the world, because we all have a lot of ambitious goals, but we can't get to them if we're depleted.
Yeah, definitely. And I like what you said is that you're trying to help people on the front end, because trying to help people when they're already there, it's a lot harder. It's not like you're unsavable, but it's like why even wait to get to that point when we could
Yeah.
like prevent you from even getting there. So that's cool that you do that.
Mhm.
So what are like so you said you take inventory, you like what just sit them down and just walk they just walk through their day and what they do, and then you just what pick different things out that they should implement in their day to day to help them? Like how does that work?
Yeah, a lot of people are on the hamster wheel and they never take the time to reflect on what they're doing every day and how they're thinking. So
Mm,
we have a comprehensive resilience audit we step them through. And it's a beautiful process because we're not sitting here prescribing anything. We're just getting them present to the opportunities they have in front of them. Okay.
mm,
And then they say, I'm going to do these 3 things different. And then I say, okay, we're going to hold you accountable to that. And we're going to see if we can move the needle on your energy and on your stress. And that's as simple as it is. And it works because people are looking for things they can do differently to feel better.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one thing that you said that really resonated with me was about how you said that people don't take the time to like reflect, and that's one thing I had learned about myself back in 2023. I was like, damn, I'm just on go mode. Like I'm not like taking the time to like sit down and reflect. Like I have a journal and I will write my journal, but like I
Good.
didn't like really like reflect on like how like I felt, how I'm doing. It was pretty much just like what I did that day, you know? So
Mhm.
what I started doing for 2024, I stuck to it and I did it every Sunday. I sit down and I'll like actually reflect on like how I'm feeling, what I'm doing,
Mhm.
like, am I
That's
on track?
awesome.
Like, I just had to implement it, and
Mhm.
then I'm still doing it for 2025 because I was like, I mean, this is a good practice, a good add-on to what I'm already doing. So,
Myles,
yeah.
that is such an amazing thing that you're doing. You don't even realize. And I hope your listeners take a page from your book, because that's amazing. One of the biggest challenges that I see all the time is people are over satiated by external stimulation. When I say that,
Mm,
I mean I mean, cell phones, social media, television, Netflix, like we have so much noise coming at us, even in our downtime, right? How many
Mm,
of us are sitting there scrolling, right? Like that's so much external noise that when you sit and you do your journal and you are really just connecting to yourself, it's like your ears can open to what the heck you want, not what everyone else wants, what you want, how you're feeling. Like there's such gold in that. We do not connect enough to ourselves and listen to that internal clarion calling of what we should be doing for us.
absolutely. And the thing too for me is that I don't know, like sometimes, especially when you're on the hamster wheel, like you were talking about, the days kind of just blend together. And
They
sometimes
do.
like you'll look back and you'll be like, damn,
Yeah.
like what did I do yesterday or the day before? Not and when I mean like what did I do, I mean more I would say more so like who did I interact with? You know, because
Right.
I do the same I pretty much do the same thing every day. I get up, do stuff for my clients, my business, do stuff for the podcast. But it doesn't change, you know. But it's like, what did I eat? Who did I call my parents? Did I check in with my sister who's
Yeah.
in school right now, make sure she's okay and whatnot. So yeah, so that's another reason why I like to do my journal, and I type mine. I know some people like to write
Nice.
theirs, but like I don't know, like I'm starting to lose like the ability to write at length now that I've everything like everybody
Yeah.
type, so it's kind of hard for me to do. But the main reason why I like typing it is because like I could go back and easily find certain days and what did I do to that day, who did I interact
Hmm.
with, like command F, like who did I talk to if I need to find a certain person's name.
Hmm.
So it's been very great, and I thank my friend who told me about this Zaire. He told me back in 2017. He was like, "Oh yeah, I have the journal and da da da," and I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And in my head, I'm like, "Bro, I don't think I'm gonna be able to commit to writing in a journal every day." So even though he told me at the beginning of 2027, I didn't start mine till like the end of 2020 or 2018. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Amazing. Good job.
Thank you so much. I know we talked about the energy gauge thing, but do you have any other like tools or applications
Yeah.
that you use to like help people?
Yeah, the beautiful thing of coaching over 5,000 hours is you get a lot of data and you get to see what people struggle the most with. So I have a lot of insight, right? But I also recognize what things they can do that actually yield results, right? Like I don't recommend things to people if I don't know that it's worked with other clients, right? So one of the things I found astounding in my early years of coaching was the number of people that are falling into their day.
What do you mean?
So, one of the ways that you can create, creating a better life starts with creating a better day, right? How
Mm,
you start your day creates a domino effect for how that day goes. But the average person is falling into their day. And what do I mean by that? Well, they wake up, they hit snooze, they maybe grab their phone and doom scroll, like whatever. There's like no real structure to their morning. And then, then they're running late, and then it's high cortisol, high stress, grabbing the coffee, getting in the car. There's all kinds of now external stress coming at them.
mm-hmm.
And my recommendation and what has worked for so many of my clients is to start your morning off with just a little bit of intentionality. And what I mean by that is like dictating how the day is going to go for you. Like you have a say, right? Like, so what if you got up maybe 10 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, right? And you sat down and maybe you grabbed a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and you just like sat in a place in your home that you like and you just chilled for a few minutes. Like maybe just thought about, all right, like what's good? I'm going to focus on what feels good, what's good in my life right now, what is going to make today a successful day, and just be with yourself for a few minutes and in that intentionality and declare how that day is going to go instead of like immediately being at the effects of your day. Just by that little 5-10 minute window of doing that, you set a cadence for yourself, and that's going to lead you to ease into your day with a little less stress, and you've already filled your cup a little bit before you start filling everyone else's.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that having a morning routine is crucial and everybody should have one?
something. And I'm not from, I don't subscribe to, oh, I have a 2 hour routine or an hour routine. Like that's overwhelming for people. Like
Yeah.
take 10 minutes, take 5 to 10 minutes just for you to sit down and calmly maybe like read something that inspires you, listen to something that's inspiring to you, that's going to elevate you, pray, read the Bible, like whatever your jam is, just plug into that for a few minutes. That makes a huge difference, but don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be more than 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting because I've never gotten into the whole morning routine, night routine stuff. I probably should do something, but I don't know. I just
Small,
I just
just
I just
small.
yeah, exactly what you said. Like if I can't do, I know I can't do an hour routine. There's no way I'm gonna be able to commit to it. But
Right.
I could probably do something like
10 minutes. Yeah.
ABC, like you said, like
Yeah.
10 minutes. Do you have a morning routine that you do that you like
I
to share?
do. I do.
Hmm.
I'd be a fraud if I wasn't doing it myself. So I get up. My routine is this. I get up, I walk my dogs because they're the first priority, God knows. And then I come back and I light a little candle and I have a cup of coffee and I have something on my phone called the 5 minute journal app that asks me for 3 things I'm grateful for. And I sit there for a minute and have to really think, like, what are some things that are going good? Because our brain wants us to think about all the problems and all the crap we got to deal with, right?
Hmm.
So I redirect my thoughts over to the things that are good for at least a hot minute. Then I'm feeling like, okay, I got some good stuff I can focus on. I do that gratitude and then I do like maybe a 5 minute meditation through Insight Timer, blow the candle out and start my day.
Wow. Okay, that's solid. That's very,
Not
very
long,
yeah,
not
very
long.
therapeutic. What made you want to incorporate the candle?
I got these little candles that have this little halo over them, and the heat
Hmm.
from the candle makes them spin.
Oh
And
wow, that's pretty cool.
the spinning of the little like butterflies actually helps me get into a meditative state.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look for those. Like I'm a pretty big candle person. Anytime Bed Bath and Beyond you know, has their sale, I always buy. I'm burning a candle right now, so
Are
very
you?
therapeutic. Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah, I love burning candles. Sad when I burned my last one.
Ah, I get it.
Definitely. But before we close out, Michelle, like, is there anything that you want the audience to take away from this episode, or any final words that you would like to say?
Yeah, like you have agency. Don't give your power away to all the external world. You have the ability to still claim some time for you. It's the oxygen mask. You have to put the mask on yourself. And if you're a creative entrepreneur, like, dude, you're doing yourself a disservice by not putting that oxygen mask on yourself because you're never going to be able to be as effective and creative as you know you can be. So put the mask on yourself so you can show up and like give it 150% because it's hard to be an entrepreneur, but like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by not giving yourself that oxygen so you can do what you want to do with your business.
Hmm. Absolutely. That's why when you get on the plane, they always tell you to put it on yourself first, and then the
First.
person next to you. But thank you, Michelle, for jumping on the podcast. Greatly appreciate you talking about burnout with me here today. Where could the people find you at?
Amazing. Resilienceasalifestyle.com is my website, but my second home is LinkedIn. You can always connect with me there, Michelle E. Dickinson.
Cool. Perfect. Well, thank you, Michelle, once again for coming on the podcast. Another great pod. I hope that we inspired y'all to be great. Till next time. Peace.